Sui Crypto, the coin that everyone is talking about, up over 90% this month alone. And everyone is asking, is it too late to buy Sui? In this video, we're going to talk about that question, and we're going to identify projects within the Sui ecosystem that are literally about to explode. We're going to talk about this altcoin chart that is breaking out right now, giving us an indication that altcoin season is about to hit. We're even going to look at a Sui price prediction of this bull market. Hit the like button. Let's get into today's video. Now guys, this is the Sui chart, and obviously every time a coin starts pumping, everyone is asking, is it too late to buy Sui? Right now I'm in Singapore at token 2049, and it is the question that everybody is asking me. So like any good YouTuber, I thought I'd answer it on a video. Now, I told you that I was getting into Sui last week when I told you that I sold pretty much the majority of my Solana, my biggest bag, to go and ape into Sui and tokens on Sui. And things have really picked up since then. So if you got in on Sui after that video, then leave a comment down below letting me know how much cash you made in the last few days. And if you didn't catch that video, make sure you subscribe to the channel with the notification bell turned on so that you don't miss future videos. So in order to discover whether or not it's too late to buy into Sui, we're going to look in depth about the things that are driving the growth of Sui right now. That's the first thing you need to do. We're also going to look about the pros and the cons of Sui so that even as a holder, I can give you an impartial view on Sui as an ecosystem. Because with any crypto, it's important to stay leveled. I don't love or hate any particular crypto coin. I just pay attention to the stats and data to support my investments. So hopefully that's going to help you to work your way through this crypto market. Now, first things first, this is probably the main driver behind the growth of crypto, okay? It is the total market cap of crypto, excluding the top 10 coins. This basically gives us a good indicator about bullish sentiment in the market, how bullish people are on altcoins, because people don't tend to like altcoins that much when the market's looking a bit flat. So what we can see right now is that we are very close to having a breakout here. If we break out here, this is altcoin season. I know everyone's been talking about it for months. Okay, it's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen next week. It's going to happen in the next 10 days. Guys, we are literally on the precipice of breaking out into an altcoin season. Put this in line with the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is high as hell. Okay, it's up near 60%, and you'll realize that the Bitcoin dominance is running into an area of resistance, previously support, previously resistance, bigger than you can imagine. Okay, this tells us that Bitcoin dominance is going to probably turn around somewhere under 60% at the same time as all the altcoins are breaking out, which is good news. So the first big check on whether it's all right to buy into coins that have been pumping a bit recently is probably okay. Total market cap excluding top 10 isn't even anywhere near all-time highs from the previous bull market. They're still around 91% away. That means that there is significant upside coming in this bull market. Many anticipate that by Metcalfe's law, we're going to see a 6 to 7x in the previous total market cap. Obviously, that's going to be Bitcoin and everything included. But even like a 2x or a 3x from here in total market cap would be incredibly bullish for altcoins, particularly the leading altcoins. Now, full disclosure, Sui is a coin that I hold myself. I personally am not sponsored in any way by Sui. I talk about it because it's interesting, because it's trending, and because everyone is talking about it and asking questions about it right now. There's no hidden agenda. I'll tell you as honestly as I can the different pros and cons about this coin running through this video so that you can still find value in what I talk about. So what's all the fuss about with Sui? Well, over the summer, it's basically been stealing volume away from Solana, along with a number of other coins. And why is that? Well, a lot of different protocols have decided to start building onto Sui. This is a very key driver and a very key metric to pay attention to when we're looking at potential growth of layer ones. Layer ones are probably the easiest ones to kind of pick because they show you all the data that drives the price and valuation. If you're looking at layer ones, until they're showing and demonstrating volume, developers, user adoption, what it's created, etc., you're probably just looking and betting on a promise, an exciting pipe dream, rather than actually something that's proving itself as an ecosystem. Now, there's been a number of Sui updates that have happened over the last 6 months or so, and I talked about those on the video the other day. One thing that's very noticeable is that the Sui volume on chain is $1 billion. Yesterday, $1 billion was traded through Sui, and that's very big news, okay? So now the volume is like a third of what it was on Solana, but that's okay, right? Because Sui has a market cap of 3.7 billion in comparison with the $65 billion market cap of Solana. So right now, a third of the market cap of Solana is like over $20 billion, which is already looking at a 6 to 7x, meaning that maybe just from that one metric, Sui is underpriced right now. But be careful. But there is some negative things we need to look into to give an impartial view. And it's this. Everybody is talking about the unlocks. Good luck with the unlocks, mate. because, you know, it's only got a circulating supply of 26%. And you make a good point, sir. But let's think about this right. Circulating supply and unlocks, people don't really like this. I get it. But what we need to understand is when those unlocks are going to happen. Because if they happen after the bull market, when I've sold up all my coins, I don't give a shit. And what's quite cool on coinmarketcap.com right now is that it shows you all the token unlocks. There was a very big unlock that happened back in July. And you can see from this point to around the top of the bull market, which, let's be honest, is probably going to be somewhere mid-25 into 2026, we want to be all out of crypto. So all we really care about is how many tokens are going to get unlocked between now and that period of time, and if it's not such a big deal and there's going to be still massive demand on the ecosystem, then it doesn't matter. So you can see right now there's just under 3 billion in circulating supply on Sui, and by the end of 2025 or into early 2026 we're looking around 3.5 billion, which, spitballing the maths, obviously go and get calculators out if you wish, or if you're better at maths just write it down, is somewhere like 20 to 30% increase in terms of circulating supply, which of course is not amazing, but at the same time this is why it really doesn't matter, okay? Because Sui is up nearly 30% in the last week. Okay, so the impact of the circulating supply, it's up over 30% in the last week. It's not such a massive deal. And also you've got to understand that those unlocks don't necessarily mean that all of the coins being unlocked will be sold off, because a lot of these coins are from the community, okay? So community reserves are the purple one, that's the majority. You want to be cautious of like the Series A and Series B, because those are probably going to be your biggest offloads, which is, yeah, a little bit of a chunk, but in terms of the actual increase, not significant enough for me to care about. So what's behind all this growth right now, and what has happened in the last week that is the major catalyst that everyone is talking about? Well, if we go across to Twitter, and first of all, give me a follow over on Twitter, because I cover a lot of the details and information that I talk about on my videos before they go live on YouTube. I'll leave a link for it down below in the description. We also have a giveaway coming up for people who are following when we hit 50k followers, so make sure you're heading across to Twitter now. So what we're going to do is check out Sui. Now, Sui is pumping, so let's find out why. If we jump across to the Sui Twitter page, you can come down below and you can find out this is the first piece of news. This is the piece of news that is causing Sui to pump like crazy. Why? Because USDC, a stablecoin, is just launched on Sui. And to remain impartial, I'm going to ask ChatGPT, being like, why is this so big for Sui? What can we expect in terms of volume on chain? Give me stats. Okay, so when you see a piece of news that might sound really bullish or whatever, go and ask ChatGPT if it's really as bullish as you think. Okay, not just because some YouTubers told you it's bullish. Go and understand for yourself why it might be bullish, or not for that matter. So I'm showing you here why it's bullish without having to tell you myself. You can see the launch of USDC is a pretty big deal. You can see USDC has a market cap of 25 billion. You can see that the launch of USDC in the past caused a jump in daily volume in 2021 on Solana to $1 billion, and the Ethereum processing to around $10 billion. And early stage projects often see a jump of $50 to $200 million. So it's showing basically it's going to cause lots of volume. Is lots of volume good on a chain? Well, absolutely, that's what the chain's for. Also, you have to pay them fees. When people are using and paying fees in Sui, adding revenue, taking Sui from the supply ultimately is a bullish thing. That causes the price to go up. If you're investing in a coin, you want other things other than just investors buying a coin to cause buying pressure, to cause shortages, etc., because it upsets the supply and demand model, and ultimately is what is going to tip Sui towards the upside. But there is bad press circulating around Sui. Lots of people don't like it because there's some shady things going on with staking and selling of staking rewards. Sui has basically come out and said that actually we were selling staking rewards, we weren't unlocking selling staked Sui. Okay, ultimately, whether or not this happened, I'm not really sure. It does seem like maybe it could have been taken one way or another, but it doesn't seem to be having so much of an impact on the token itself. Lots of other people are complaining that it's being shilled by lots of big influencers like Raoul Pal, like Coin Bureau, etc. And that obviously people see as a negative thing. Ultimately, I wouldn't see it as a negative thing because many people will go and buy it because Raoul Pal's talked about it. Therefore, active marketing is probably a good thing in my eyes, and it's something I want to invest in. Whereas many out there are going, I don't want to buy coins that are talked about by anyone. Well, you would have never heard about it if it was never talked about by anyone. I actually like to go towards the coins that actually are investing in marketing. Okay, so Sui does seem to be pretty down from the marketing sides of things. It does seem to have good volume on chain, which seems to be causing the growth. It does seem to be picking up a lot of volume across different projects and things in this ecosystem. And you can see on chain, all the data suggests that Sui is growing for all the right reasons. Come down below, all the projects on Sui are also absolutely exploding. And some of the ones we covered on the video on Friday, like Cetus, I think we talked about Navi Protocol, most of these are up over 30 to 40%. So guys, absolutely make sure you're subscribing. In the future, we'll cover different narratives and I'll show you the data and help you understand why it might be an opportunity for you to invest rather than just telling you what to buy, because that's going to get you wrecked, and this is going to help you fish for yourself. So obviously, giving you a price estimation for where we're going to go in this bull market can be tricky, but as an indicator of growth of crypto over kind of one bull market to the other, Ethereum is a good one to look at. You can look at the previous top from the first bull market it had in 17. It did basically a 3.5x. If Solana does a similar growth on this bull market, you're looking at like an $875 coin for Solana, and Solana currently has a $65 billion market cap. Okay, so 3.5x times 65, which makes for like a $230 billion market cap. Let's say Sui can reach a third of the size of Solana during this bull market, which it has done already in terms of volume, obviously not market cap, gives us a market cap of $75 billion, which is a little bit bigger than where Solana is right now. Now, this might be a very bullish case, okay? And maybe you can give or take $10 billion on this, depending on how you're feeling. I'm just giving you a rough idea on how it might look. So that's a very approximate 20x, give or take, for Sui, okay? 20x for Sui, I think, would be pretty decent performance, and I personally quite like the sounds of that. Therefore, jumping across to the Sui chart, yes, we have seen significant growth right now, and yes, ultimately, you don't necessarily want to be aping in on these big green candles, but the fact of the matter is, you're not aping in at all-time highs. We're still, significantly off. All-time highs for Sui has to done another 56%. At the time when the bull market is literally getting going right now, interest rates have just been cut. Inflation will continue to dip. Interest rates will continue to dip. Global liquidity is flooding into the market. It's an election year. Things are about to go bananas. So yeah, that's why I made the switch from Solana to Sui. So in terms of entry, obviously, ideally, should we get like a little bit of a dip, usually 50% mark back on a previous large candle is quite healthy. For example, you saw this one, pulls back to the 50% zone, you get a good entry on this. If this pulls back to the 50% zone, you get a good entry. But ultimately, it's up to you. In the very short term, maybe if you buy at the top of one of these candles, you could see some pullback. But over the bull market, which is 18 months ahead of us, you're probably going to see significant upside. So ultimately, make a decision on that, okay? Ape into it if you're willing to sit in the red for a short period of time, or wait patiently if you're willing to potentially miss out on this one. But don't worry, there's always another coin to ape into at some point, okay? But anyway, you're like 20x. Hold on a minute. I came here for like 50x or 100x. Well, I guess you're going to be disappointed if you're just waiting to try and get into Sui. But the good news is Sui as an ecosystem is now also picking up. Everywhere I go around Singapore right now, everyone is talking about the projects on Sui that are starting to see growth. Now, I've been talking to a lot of these projects, and you might be like, oh, they just got lucky, they built on Sui. Actually, a lot of these projects for the last couple of years have been building, and they identified Sui being a great platform for building DeFi projects on, due to the fact it's incredibly fast. Unlike Solana, it hasn't had outages. Yes, it's pretty centralized, which is not ideal, but ultimately could be a very good contender for DeFi projects. So if we want to find out bigger gains, the best thing to do is to look at projects being built on Sui, or that have been built on Sui, because right now it's not particularly competitive as an ecosystem. And that's why if we go to CoinGecko and look down at the Sui ecosystem coins, you can see that a lot of these coins are absolutely blowing up in the last week or so, okay? You can see Sui itself obviously up. These are obviously stable coins. You can see like meme coins are going crazy on Sui. Go and do that if you wish. You can see lending platforms. Scallop we talked about on the video the other day. Nevi Protocol, also a lending platform, going crazy as well. You can see a bunch of others that are looking interesting. Now, typically, this is very easy. If you look at what happened to Solana, if you look at what happened to Ethereum, these projects give you the blueprint for what will do well on a particular chain. A good decentralized exchange, a DEX chain, okay? A DEX is basically where lots of people will go and trade on the Sui chain. If you are holding Sui right now in a Sui wallet, there's a good chance you've used a DEX, and because there's not many DEXs about on Sui, you've probably used Cetus Protocol, which is why Cetus Protocol is going up aggressively when everyone starts to flip and starts to trade on Sui. Now, I called this the other day on the video, and since I did that, it's up around 20-30%. Right now, you can see again, the chart looks pretty solid, right? We've had a nice dip towards the downside. We've broken out. There is a chance that we will come back and retest. Ultimately, it depends on the overall market. If Bitcoin rips and the altcoins rip out of that section right now, you're going to see expansive growth happening across this ecosystem. It's pretty much confirmed. You're seeing it already. So anywhere around here, you can see is not a bad entry. This would be a bad entry, right? This is because you sit in this. There's a very low chance of sitting in red for a significant period of time right now. Obviously not financial advice. Go and do your own research. Hopefully I'm helping you to do the research. But this looks right. $28 million market cap. And you got Trader Joe, the biggest DEX on AVAX, currently trading at 128 million, which is like a 5x from here. And you got Jupiter, big DEX over on Solana, currently trading at $1 billion. Just gives you a bit of an indication about some of the potential returns that you can get from a top performing DEX on a chain that starts to grow exponentially. What other platforms tend to do well? You got DEXs. You also have staking and lending platforms. Easy way to find staking and lending platforms. Go across to DeFi Llama. Look for Sui. Come down below, you want to find platforms. Typically, they're quite easy to find. What you want to look for is big TVLs. For example, you've got Signup here. I can see it's got $140 million already locked on it, which is pretty cool considering it's got less than $20 million market cap. Okay, so Signup, again, showing very good reason why it's growing right now. It's a staking and lending platform. This is very key for DeFi. It's very key, particularly on chains that start to blow up, because lots of people will start to buy Sui as their main hold for the bull market. They'll then go and use staking and lending platforms to be able to increase their yields over the next period of time. This is why these lending platforms tend to do quite well. Have a look at Signup is a good example. As a price chart zooming out, again, it looks really good. You might think it looks horrible, but considering that the fact that the price action has been absolutely dying since when it launched all the way back in kind of March, typically most altcoins that launched in March did die. You can see up now around 140% in just the last few weeks, indicating that there is good buying pressure. And I know lots of people will be like, oh yeah, just go and buy into the pumps. Guys, I get it, right? But it's still back to all-time highs, 246% up. From here, Signup Lend looks pretty decent. Okay, lending, staking platforms tend to do well. You can see Jito, big staking lending platform over on Solana, currently sits at just under $280 billion, which is 10x bigger than Scallup. Also, Jito was also a pretty new project. Okay, so you can see just how much more money there is on Solana, but that money will start to flood and is already flooding into the Sui ecosystem. Now, the next one, and it's actually Launchpads, okay? Typically, when a new platform does really well, everyone's like, I need to launch my project now, not on Solana. Actually, I want to launch on Sui, or whatever it is, okay? They tend to choose the trending ones because everyone knows that money flows into those ecosystems and blows up projects. So which are the best projects to look at that can facilitate this? Usually a launchpad. And actually, you can come through this list. This is on CoinGecko. You just select up where it says cryptos, go down to chain, select Sui, go and look at these projects in a bit more depth. But you can come down through and see if you can find yourself a launchpad. Launchpads typically do very well when projects start to launch again. We're about to enter into a bull phase. Projects will start launching aggressively. This means that projects tend to explode when we see that. Now, this is Seedify, which is on Solana, so this is not the one we're going to look at. But look at what happened to Seedify during a period of time when suddenly the market gets hot again. All projects start to launch on Solana. It goes up 7.5x. And Seedify sits there with a $70 million market cap, but it was like 7 times bigger than that. So it was somewhere up around $500 billion. Seedify went up to $500 billion as a launchpad because loads of people launched on Solana. So it makes sense to find a launchpad where everyone's going to start using that launchpad to launch on Sui. And I found down here on the list, SuiPad, which sits at a $4.5 million market cap. There is a potential to see very aggressive growth in this one. There might be other launchpads, okay, disclaimer, go and look through. I haven't had the time to go and look at all the different launchpads. But SuiPad here sees 140% gain in the last week, but a tiny, tiny market cap because it's up 50% today. So it's very, very early, and this is the first move from a tiny market cap, okay? So it's added like a couple of $1 million to its market cap today. People have obviously been doing what I'm doing right now, going and looking for a launchpad on a chain that probably looks hot. You can see the volume's up pretty high as well. So SuiPad looks interesting. Coming across to SuiPad, I can see that it's basically launched already 12 projects, already participate in raises for $1.4 billion. It already had nearly 12,000 participants. This is all very bullish stuff, okay? You can see you can do things like staking. Go and look into this in more depth, okay? This is not me telling you to buy it, okay? All I'm looking at is a launchpad that probably will launch lots of projects. It's already launching projects. It seems to be selling out different ones. You can go and see some of the projects it's been launching. It tells you how to participate in the sale, buying different tokens, etc. Even if it sees just a fraction of the kind of market cap that Seedify got to recently, this seems like a really interesting one. So very early stages. Go and find yourself a launchpad, go and find yourself a DEX, go and find yourself a landing platform. These always win on winning chains. We saw it in Ethereum. We saw it in Solana. We even saw it on the likes of Base. We've seen things picking up and going and moving from chain to chain. Be flexible, be willing to be able to go and make chain changes, to become an early adopter and go find these early adopters on a chain that's already outperforming the market. Now, having spent the last few days walking around Token 2049, one of the things that I keep getting asked in addition to should I buy Sui is which exchange do you use? I use Bitunix, which is linked down below in the description. The main reason I use it, It doesn't require a KYC, so wherever you are in the world, you can access this exchange. And also, all of the coins, pretty much that I talk about on videos, are available on Bitunix. I asked them to go and list the coins that I talk about on videos, and they go and list all those coins. They also have super low fees, and it's an incredibly easy exchange to use. Not only that, people buying tokens through my link down below in the description and trading on Bitunix will receive airdrops throughout this bull market in various tokens, as well as other massive bonus offers. So make sure you sign up for Bitunix. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video about the Sui ecosystem. Remember, stay smart, okay? Go and find the information for yourself. Don't just sit there and say you hate this and you hate that, or you love this and you love that, and you don't even know anything about it. You love it because of the price action, fine, but find out why that price action is happening, and you are going to have a very successful bull market. Hit the like button. Also, if you want to learn more and continue to learn more about different ecosystems and how the world of crypto really works, then subscribe. You will not regret it. And I will see you in the next few days. Bye-bye.